notification on your end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, what's up, body shoppers? Chels and Marilu here.
Hi, guys.
We're going live again. I don't know why I like going live. I don't know. I think maybe that seems like it's a challenge for me. I've told the story before. If we do recordings, or if I do a recording, I have like 27 takes because I keep messing up. This way, if I mess up, I got to keep going.
It's that or the cat's walking behind you.
That's true. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Welcome to the broadcast. Let's see. We already got lots of likes and people watching. So we're waiting for Ranjan and Chelsea to join us in the studio. So we're going to take advantage of the few moments here to talk about dun 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 the club's reopening. Jason Bailey, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Hi, guys.
Billy Maxwell, good to see you guys. So, you know, deciding to reopen or not, I guess, so it's important to understand that Ohio, and we have clubs in Ohio and Pittsburgh. And in Ohio, it's about as clear as mud who can open and who can't, at least for somebody like us. And so we got notification that certain types of events can begin running again on June 1st or after June 1st. So we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to go ahead and reopen the Ohio clubs coming in June. But we're going to do it as a staged opening. We're going to open we're going to open the Toledo club first. That's going to be on June 6th. So we're going to have our first official event back on June 6th. And then the weekend after, June 13th, we're going to open up the body shop in Canton. And there's kind of a reason we're going to do that. We want to start in Toledo just to kind of see how things go with reopening with all the new precautions and stuff in place. And then we'll roll that into Canton, which is a little bit bigger club. And plus, we've had an event up since January for Canton for June 13th. I never took it down because I never imagined that we'd still be in lockdown into June. But here we are, fast approaching June. I see Ranjan and Chels are sitting in the studio. We'll get with them in 2 minutes here. Hi, guys. And so we're going to keep that event going. That is a schoolgirl night that's scheduled for June 13th in Canton. I don't have the event up yet for June 6th, but I'll probably do that tomorrow morning. I don't know that I'll have time tonight. I've got, believe it or not, after this interview, I've got another phone call. I've got to make business-related phone call. So work. Yesterday was like that too. From about 3 o'clock on, we were all business. So anyway, so let's go ahead and bring in Ranjan and Chelsea. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Look at you guys all spiffied up.
I know.
Yeah, in like months, probably.
Months at this point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. If there's a way, Marilu, can you hear them okay? Or are they a little quiet?
A little quiet.
Okay.
Let's see if we can adjust
I don't know if you can turn up your sensitivity on the mic or not.
Yeah. I'm trying.
I mean, we can hear you. It's just it's a little quiet. You don't have one of these fancy mics, I guess.
No.
No.
How's this?
Just kidding.
Loud?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. You guys look great. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. We try.
So how's everyone been?
So, Raja and Chelsea have been members of the club for how long now?
2 years?
2.5
years?
Well, almost 3 maybe? Or no, 2 years.
Right? 2 years?
Yeah.
A while.
2 years. Yeah. And they are a trip. You guys are a trip.
They're pioneers.
I mean, some would say we just jump headfirst into disasters. You know, throw caution to the wind.
Or
Let's say, you know,
fun.
yeah. Well, we don't mind, you know, going a little crazy here and there. So
That's okay.
Generally
Well,
works.
we appreciate having you guys. So you've been a wonderful addition to the club. And I was really excited. We talked about doing this months ago.
Mm-hmm.
For a while.
And,
yeah,
you know, it's sort of interesting because when our first few interviews that we did completely different. We did mostly in person.
Yeah.
And then obviously with, God, I hate saying this, you know, the COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, has really changed the landscape for so many things. So, but doing it this way has been pretty fun. And that way you guys are at home, obviously comfortable. Yeah. You got a cool looking place there.
Oh, thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's really cool.
this would be a dining room, but we're millennials. We eat out of takeout containers, so we don't use for a dining table. So really, it's our computer, makeup, and I don't know, I guess hangout room.
Yeah, just hang out there.
Well, that's
You
okay.
might recognize some of the stuff back there
so
from the
there's
club.
There's our hoverboard.
Glow night, we
Glow
have
night,
that
ball.
big ball there.
And then our heads.
Our panda
Yes.
head's back there.
Elephant head.
An elephant head. Oh, well, you can't see it.
Oh, yeah, the panda
there.
head's on
It's
top.
behind it.
Oh yeah, we can see it. So Rajan, in that vein, I've got one question for you. It's the most important question of the night. Are you wearing
Yes.
flippers?
Ooh,
No,
You should have.
Actually put on shoes.
Look at that. Tennis shoes. Real one.
I was wearing sandals and then I put on shoes. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm working my way to formal wear,
Yeah,
which is
that's
like,
true,
you know,
that's true.
flippers, as you know,
Yeah, flippers are the top tier.
top tier. Actually, the flippers aren't accounted for right now.
Yeah, I don't know where they are.
I don't know where they are.
We'll
Yeah.
find them.
Well, they're next to a pair of heels that are supposed to be glued to them.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have no idea where they
I'm
went.
sure we'll find them eventually.
Well, yeah, Marilu, I'd asked Marilu to text you guys just to confirm some information, and she says she sent you something about Scuba Steve.
Yeah.
I was dying.
Actually, there's people to this day that still call me Scuba Steve when they see
They
me.
do. Like, they haven't seen us in 6 months, and they're like, Scuba Steve.
Or like, you know, that was over a year ago.
Yeah,
now.
it was. It
Yeah.
was last.
Something about walking into a club at the height of summer wearing a full scuba suit just sticks out in people's memories. And
We had the floaties and the flippers, everything.
What
yeah.
party was that? Was that the beach party?
And this
Yeah.
summer?
No, that was the
Or
first beach
beginning of
party.
summer.
That was
Beach party.
that was a beach party, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we
I had my scuba swimsuit though.
yeah, she had a swimsuit. Well, yes, because the second
Yeah.
one, I actually put the scuba suit on for
Yeah,
a few
for a
and took it
little
off.
bit.
Yeah, but I had a
We had
jet
back
ski
then.
and a life jacket.
Yeah,
and
then I had the
she was a shark.
Shark. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
which that was
That was a lot of fun.
a great outfit too.
That was good.
And honestly, that's been one of our favorite things about this
Yeah.
whole experience. Has been
Dressing up.
well, theme nights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really added an element of excitement that
Yeah.
we haven't had since
Yeah.
we were young. You know,
Yeah.
Halloween now is all of a sudden relevant again.
Yeah, we didn't celebrate
Which is
Halloween
great.
for years until I came to the club and then, just dress up.
Marilu likes to do that also. Wait, does Chelsea like to does she like Dr. Pimple Popper?
No,
he's
she'll literally come right up. She'll just like lick her finger and just start messing with my face.
Yeah,
and
there's something out there.
It's the worst.
Oh my
It's the worst. That's actually a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate having my face touched.
God.
She just comes up and gets all up in there.
Like,
Would be.
yeah, just be like this.
Okay. Apparently, I have a dog
you got it, you
hair.
got
Okay, dog hair on my
You're
face,
good.
and she's still working on it.
Got it.
Well, we have
So, yeah.
2 cats, so we have cat hair everywhere.
Yeah. We have a big fluffy dog, so
2 of them.
2 of them.
Yeah. So there's just fur everywhere.
Everywhere, all
I'm
the
sure you
time.
guys feel that. It's,
Yeah.
our lint roller is like a most important tool.
It's
like
huge too.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It's huge.
Oh
Holy,
wow, that's a
it's like a
huge
paint
roller.
roller.
right?
It's a serious lint roller. There's
That's
lint
serious
on it.
business. Like,
You
look
can
at
see
it.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can see the fur on
There
there.
it is. Like anytime we go anywhere, we just have to give ourselves a
have
once
to,
over,
yeah.
and we still don't catch it all.
No, you can never catch it all. Like,
Sorry, I'm readjusting myself here. Get a better angle.
No.
I gotta get my good side.
get your good side.
My good side's my backside.
Right?
That's the backside. But yeah, like we're talking about the events, and that's been one of our favorite things to do.
Oh yeah. Dressing up and getting ready.
Yeah, because the costumes and stuff like that's kind of a thing that most of us left, way back in like the high school, college years and stuff like that. Going out for like St. Patrick's Day or whatever.
Yeah, but that's just like green T-shirts or whatever. It's nothing crazy.
But theme parties add an all new element, and it's not competitive, which is what's interesting.
Yeah, that's always nice. Like I've always talked about how even if you have the same outfit as another lady there, because it's like the top Amazon pick or something, you gather them together and take a picture rather than being mad about it or being like, oh, they have the same outfit. I can't believe that. Like.
There's a camaraderie that comes with it.
Yeah,
which really, you would think it'd be competitive, but no,
I know,
it's interesting.
Nice. Because nobody's judging, and So.
Plus, the costumes are built in icebreakers. It gets people talking and having fun, which is great.
Well, you guys participate a lot in the sense that you guys will sometimes bring in things for other, members. It's like all of a sudden you have a whole tattoo thing set up in the lounge.
Yeah. That
And
was
everyone loves that.
Yeah, the tattoo thing was actually, it was a random Amazon impulse buy.
It was. He just found it somehow randomly, and then he's like, I need these. Like,
it was I think it was for our second glow party that we did too.
Yeah.
And I think what happened? We ended up finding out that people really like letting you put tattoos on them.
Yeah, because
so people that we hadn't talked to before were just
they
like,
just came up and joined in.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why tattoo parlors don't let you get drunk before you show up, because you just get a tattoo of anything.
I need one of those.
Probably.
Speaking of, do either one of you guys have tattoos?
I have one. He doesn't have any.
Yeah, I have 0 tattoos.
Do you want to see the tattoo?
Yeah.
Get like a good, let's see, should I lift it?
Whoa.
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
Wait, are we allowed to see this on Facebook?
No, it's on a leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I see it.
Oh, okay. The way you're acting, I thought you were going to hike your skirt up.
I was about
No. That would probably go against some YouTube guidelines
some YouTube
somewhere.
guidelines, and you're like, no. And it's a little Betty Boop in the Marilyn Monroe dress, which actually Betty Boop did first. Fun fact.
Oh.
So
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My ankles, I guess maybe get hidden sometimes.
Socks.
Yeah, socks.
Heels,
Putting
whatever.
socks, heels, and stuff like that. That's place you normally look, I guess. But.
So to give a little background on you two, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think we've really talked much about this in person. How long have you guys been together? And how did you get into coming to clubs or participating in the quote unquote lifestyle? So
how long have we been together first?
Okay, well, we originally met a long time ago. For us, this is our longest relationship. Yeah. We've known each other for 12 years
16
now.
years.
16 years. Yeah. 16 years.
Wow.
But no, that's what it is. We've been dating now for 12 years. We dated originally like 16 years ago for a little while.
Hey guys, we're getting some feedback or something from your. You almost went silent.
Oh, whoops! I might have. There we go. Is that better? Any better? Oh.
Nope, still getting it.
Still getting it?
Yeah, it's like a high pitched noise. Uh-oh. I'm gonna mute you guys for a minute. This is the wonderful thing about going live. We get everything that happens. Nope, still there.
Still there. Here, hold on a sec. Let me switch my mic. All right, how about now?
Yep, it went away.
Perfect.
All right.
Oh,
right.
weird.
Sorry, we have a separate webcam, and
Yeah.
it acts a little crazy
Okay.
sometimes.
How much of that did you get?
That's all right. Technology. It's
Mhm.
wonderful and it's terrible all at the same time.
We need an audio
I
guy.
know,
Yeah.
right?
We should,
So how much of that did you get? How much did we miss?
Yeah, where were we? Oh, so we.
No, you just started with you've known each other for a long time.
Mhm.
Or you met a long time ago.
16 years.
Yeah.
And then we dated for a short while. Then we went our separate ways. Then we dated again, and went our separate ways again. It was usually me
Yeah.
choosing to go a different way. Well, I mean, I moved and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like I moved
there's
away.
been a lot of life
Yeah.
changes in between.
A lot of life changes usually involved. And then this most recent go of things, which has been 12 years, almost 12 years.
I think, yeah.
I don't know. We're terrible about keeping track of the exact dates.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But it's been a heck of a journey.
It's been crazy.
Honestly, when it comes into like, say, for instance, alternative relationship setups and things like that, I think there's a lot of things that we had to work out over those years until we were in a place where we're steady enough and solid to be able to really grow as a couple
You have
and
to
really
lay that
commit to each other.
foundation, for sure.
And that's one of the things that the lifestyle has been great for us specifically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice.
We've been rock solid, overall this entire time.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, like whether we could have tried anything like this when we first got together.
We could never have done it in our 20s.
No, it definitely would not have
just a little
gone
rocky for that.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
So it's actually very interesting, when it comes to, I guess what you would call like deprogramming of what we're brought up thinking what relationships should look like.
Yeah.
And how you should treat the people around you and that you're with and that you choose to surround yourselves with and that support you and you support. A lot of the way that we're brought up to do that kind of does not jive well with, say, lifestyle stuff. And you will see couples that haven't managed to deprogram themselves from that mindset come into the lifestyle and then exit pretty quickly because it causes a lot of things to come to the surface.
It does. There's a lot of things that come up. And I had no idea this lifestyle was even a thing before we got into it, But,
so how did those were those conversations taking place? You said this last run has been 11 years. So did those conversations take place immediately? And if not, how did they become part of your relationship conversation?
Yeah, honestly, we were terrible communicators before. We were really bad.
We honed our skills.
Yeah, at like really like talking about our feelings and our desires and things like that. And as we got better with that, that's when the concepts associated with the lifestyle kind of crept into our lives. We started exploring more so like, I guess the kink side of things, things like that. We explored a lot of like fetish type stuff and BDSM and stuff like that. And
then
as things went on, we opened ourselves to other types of fantasies, of course, that involved more than one person. And then one day we were actually on vacation, and we accidentally had a more than two people experience.
Yeah.
It just kind of
what does accidentally look like?
We made a friend at the hotel pool.
Yeah. When we're on vacation.
When we're on vacation, and that friend ended up like sending us a text later.
And I didn't even really know he was hitting on us. Like, kind of just like, hey. I thought he was trying to be like friendly, and he's like, no.
I was like, no, this person's like actually hitting on us.
Yeah.
And, that was essentially our first lifestyle experience. After that, there was a lot to kind of figure out and talk about.
Experience. Too,
yeah.
But I think it depends back to the how do you communicate about it too. Like, it depends on the situation. If you're at the club, you don't want to like discuss all these issues and stuff at the club a lot of the time, because it's just not the time or the place. So a lot of times we'll have conversations after, but beforehand, when we're going to the club or when we're going to start a new experience or experience something new, we'll talk about it beforehand.
However, this was well before we started with the lifestyle.
Way before,
long before.
That was the first.
Yeah, after that we tried apps.
Uh-huh.
We used apps. They are terrible.
Like which apps?
I think we tried the first one might have been one of the adult friend finder apps.
Okay, yeah.
AFF.
Yeah, AFF, and then we tried 3Fun and Fieldy. 3Fun was the one that ended up like being probably, I guess, the best.
Yeah, really
as far as meeting people goes. It's pretty difficult to figure out in those early stages until you kind of get to put yourself out there and you have had these quote unquote dating experiences. Right. When you can find out like the people you're talking to anonymously, whether they're genuine or not, things like that.
Yeah, sometimes
a lot of people are on there just to like fantasize or
collectors
they collect pictures or whatever.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, of course. So we tried the apps for a while and we met a couple of people that way. And it was all right. And then actually one match on an app dragged us to DJs, and so it was we're thrust into the lifestyle club experience, and it was very interesting. It was a good time. It was great. And then we found out that the body shop was like literally 10 minutes away from us. We could do that, but not have to drive an hour back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That sounds awesome.
You could ride your bikes to the club.
Exactly.
Just ride down the hill.
Yeah. It might be difficult in heels and scuba suit, but
flippers.
So we ended up going to the body shop, and we haven't really looked back since then. It was great. It was we were there at first, maybe once a month, and before that, or before long, we were there every weekend, and then the second the financial stars aligned, we got a diamond membership because it was
worth it for us.
Yeah, we were essentially paying a fortune.
For every single party, we're going there.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't mind that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you. But
no, actually, that was part of the reason why things like the diamond membership and the gold memberships in Canton were created, because this is going to sound weird. It's probably anti-business person, but I didn't feel good about people that were attending all the time, paying all that. And in a way, I guess if you go out to eat dinner every night, you pay that. But I don't know. It seemed right to come up with a way for people like yourselves to save some money, and be able to attend as much as they want.
Yeah, and on top of being more economical for people that want to go often, I think it also creates an incentive to go more often when essentially everything is also
and you can just walk in and out, and if you aren't having fun, you can step out or
So it's kind of nice that
it's less pressure, I think.
Yeah. You don't have to be less.
Not that there's much pressure.
As choosy about which events you go to, which is really nice.
If you're bored at dinner on a Friday, or go to somebody's house, and then you're like, well, we could just hit the club.
Yeah, exactly. By now by now we have a costume stocked up for probably anything.
Any party
you could probably come up with.
We're like, all right, we got something for that.
Our Amazon couriers love us.
It's bad. They love us.
I bet they do. So I don't know if you guys caught the first part before you came in the studio. We're going to start reopening the Ohio clubs, and Toledo is going to be the first to open, but we don't have a theme picked out. So maybe we'll have you guys pick out the theme, since you have a costume for virtually everything.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go through our closets.
Go through our closets, see what we
find
have.
something fun.
But you'd have to go to Toledo. That's 3.5 hours away.
I've never been there.
Yeah, we've never been to Toledo.
Yeah, not yet. But if there's a club open, maybe.
We'll make a weekend of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know us. We're always in search of adventure.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm getting away from the club this long.
That's actually been really interesting. There's a lot of people I feel chomping at the bit to get back
Oh yeah, people are dying to get out.
into things.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how the clubs have been doing that have reopened recently.
That's gonna be interesting, see how many people they get,
Yeah.
See what happens.
I mean, it's the warm weather. It's
Yeah.
here.
It is
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's 90 some degrees today.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh my god. It was a
For
little
sure.
cooler. That's nice, but oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's been the warm weather always brings the people out. Like
Summertime's usually like the busiest. It seems like.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys been to Ohio yet?
Like, well, yeah.
We've snuck over the border to get some alcohol. And
Oh, there you
Okay. We did that once.
Except for
She got some black market nails.
Okay.
So
Kind
I
Black
still
market
need
nails.
to get a haircut
He still
because
does need a haircut. I still need one too. I need a dye.
my hair looks like this because it's so long right
Yeah,
now.
it's super long.
I could almost have a ponytail in the back.
I know.
It's
That would be cool, though. It actually looks good.
oh,
You like it?
thanks. Thanks. It's a lot to deal with.
I know, it's a lot of work.
I'm looking forward
For
to
him, at least.
barbers opening up over here.
Yeah, I can't wait for salons to open. Oh my goodness.
So do you guys have any other questions? Anything you'd like to know
Nope,
about?
that's it. We're done.
We're all over.
I can roll
I'm sure Marilu has a ton of questions.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you
I'm always amazed with you guys because it seems like everyone seems to gravitate to you. It's kind of interesting to see a brand new couple come in. And of course, some of our people, our staff and stuff will be like, oh, this, they'll introduce people that are new to others. And, but for some reason, you guys just kind of have a certain aura about you and an ease to talk to that a lot of the new people, like, I'll know that they're new, like they've been there just a couple hours. And at the end of the night, I'll look and I'm like, oh my God, where are they? Oh yeah, I see where they're at.
Well, honestly, I chalk that up to us being short.
Yeah, just being
He's
short.
short.
I think it makes us
Short?
less intimidating to talk to. Yeah.
Just being a little like 5'3".
Yeah, because 5'3", 5'5".
5'4".
Thank you.
Whatever.
But I think no, people don't find us intimidating.
No, I think here, go ahead.
I don't know I don't know if it's being short necessarily, but
well, we just know what it feels like to be new. We remember that feeling of just being kind of intimidated and shy and not really knowing what to do, how to act, So we always think of that, and we're like, why not help other people if they're going through the same thing, And even if we're just talking to them and trying to relate,
yes,
and make them feel comfortable, it doesn't have to be anything more.
because that ties
remember
into
that.
so our first time at the body shop was different
scary.
because So our first time at a club, of course, had been a date. So we met our dates, and then that we pretty much talked to them the whole evening. Then our first time at the body shop, we'd gone cold, right? We'd gone in there cold. We knew no one.
I had
We
no
hadn't
idea. I didn't know.
used the
anything.
networking aspect of the website really to do any sort of meeting people or anything like that. We just showed up,
We're like,
and I mean, we ended up having a good time. We ended up meeting some people here and there, but there was this long period of acclimation. Oh, hi, Jilly.
oh, hey, Jillian.
But so essentially, we felt, or it's not that it was awkward, but we felt out of place, or we didn't quite know what the rules were, or anything like that. And then we had a good time, and then we came home and we talked about it. We're like, okay, we'll take like a month off and process all the stuff that happened at the club and see how it goes.
It took a lot longer to process. So I was like, I need a couple weeks,
Yeah.
And
then I want to say later that night, we got a text message that we matched with a couple on the website, and it's a very specific couple. They still go there.
Yeah.
They messaged us, and they literally had us back to the club. I think the
Like
next
a week
day.
later.
Was it the Saturday?
Later.
A week. Okay, the
I
next
think they
week.
went Saturday. And
Yeah.
The next week.
Okay, that's right. No, it was the Bear Elegance party.
Oh yeah.
So it was Saturday.
Yeah.
So literally, like the next week, we were back at the club. Like after all this talk, we were like, we're gonna take some time
we just did
and
a
like
couple,
figure things out. And then so we met this couple there, and they took us around the whole club and introduced us to everybody.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's where
That one little act, like, oh hey guys, this is Ranjan and Chels, and we'd say hi, hello, like, and then we move on to meet someone else, and eventually what we found was that like even when we ended up running into those people afterwards, ice was already broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we'd already met them. Yeah. Like the 90% of the awkwardness in a first meeting was gone because we've essentially already met them, and that was actually very
isn't that nice. People are talking.
That's
so sweet. Thanks.
You guys have a fan club.
I know, right?
That's
good.
But he was so sweet.
I know.
So I lost my train of thought. That was like a real turning point for us because like
that was very,
we found that we were really able to enjoy our time at the club way more because instead of going to a party and like not knowing anyone there, you're going to a party of all friends, right? Like that there's a big difference between those two experiences. And so anytime we found someone, and like well before anyone started bringing newbies over to us to I guess I don't want to say break them in or anything, but
kick the training wheels off.
Yeah. So we would like see people doing what we did our first time there, where they stuck to each other. Yeah, sitting in a corner, kind of hiding, and like just kind of experiencing it. We're like, okay, guys, we're not going to let you leave without making new friends. Like that's us. We're going to make sure that they make other friends. And there's been obviously the club is filled with great people. So that's never been a problem. We definitely like we take a lot of people under our wings and introduce them to a bunch of other couples or people or people we feel that we have a good connection with, and I think that is probably our favorite thing, that we get to make their first experience at the club like our second experience was,
and
right?
help others feel like we did, like more comfortable and at ease and not so shy or worried, just kind of like help them feel comfortable.
That's actually very generous of you to do that. I mean, you're spending money to go to the club, and of course, I mean, you're meeting other people, but I mean, very generous of you guys with your time to do that. That's wonderful.
It's nothing, because honestly, it's been a lot of fun.
And we love meeting new people, so it's a lot of fun just in that sense.
Yeah, we get to see. But we get to meet people, we get to hear their stories, and what more can you ask for? Oh yeah, the hair is not.
It's a little bit pink on the bottom. You can kind of see.
Just a actually.
Yeah, I don't know if they can. Yeah, I'm sure they can.
Kind of, they can kind of see a little bit of pink there, not too much, but it wouldn't come out. So don't worry, it's not coming forever.
Her hairstylist actually had to do weeks of research to try to figure out how to get this pink out.
And she's just like, no, that's gonna have to stay.
Apparently, Splat as a hair dye replaces the proteins in your hair with some sort of polymer.
It's like plastic.
So it's fused in there. It's not coming out.
Until it grows out eventually.
What's it called?
Splat.
So it's like the.
Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Have you heard of that? Yeah. So it's like the cheapest. It's like the best color I found, and it lasts the longest. So I was like, yes. And I didn't realize how harsh it was. Years later. So.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not using it.
I don't know.
Actually, I read an article about that in itself this week, and that's how I became familiar with the product. I see it all the time, but I was always like, "Ooh, I don't know. Those colors are a little too vibrant, maybe for me, for my other job."
Yeah,
I'd like to see it pink hair.
Yeah, pink hair, blue hair, but
their strength, like a bright.
That's really it produces those vibrant colors,
It
but there's a
really
reason
does.
why. There's a
That's
trade-off.
why. Yeah, there's a trade-off.
So once it's in, it's in.
That gets like comes with bleach and gloves and everything. I was like, I'm set, but it's
Can guys
it's
use
cool.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it'll get rid of my gray hair, is what you're saying.
There you go. You can put some red in there, something like that.
Or pink, or blue.
What do you think?
You know,
Brad?
I was actually mulling over. So I play a video game called Borderlands, and they actually brought out a whole line of Borderlands themed.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Splat did.
Splat did.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
Ah.
And my purple came out. I do need to try some overtone. Good tip. I've heard of that. Now.
now.
Toner supposed to be good. Thank you.
So you were thinking about doing it for yourself, Rajan?
Yeah, sure, why not,
You're
right?
gonna dye your hair.
I've got enough gray
Dude,
that I need to.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
I could go red, so it looks
Yeah,
like a
you can go
vampire.
red.
That just that.
Yeah.
Maybe for
A
Halloween.
little vampire-ish look.
Yeah.
You go vampire.
I could do that.
Do you have pointy canines?
Yeah.
Uh,
Not too pointy actually.
no,
Mine
no.
are probably pointy.
I can get the add-on.
The fake teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can get those.
Maybe
Marilu's
my
got,
next Amazon purchase.
Marilu's got
Yeah.
a thing for vampire teeth.
Oh,
Oh, really?
That's a vampire.
Not like vampire teeth, like the ones that And there's just something.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it Christian Bale?
Christian Bale.
Christian
For the
Bale.
longest time, the first time I ever saw him.
I can
Yeah.
see that. Definitely has this big
Yeah.
vampire teeth.
I was like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you. But every time we watch a movie or we see somebody or whatever, first thing he'll be like, look, he's got, and I'm like, I already noticed. I saw the teeth. I'm there already.
I think for American Psycho, I found out recently he fixed his teeth for
Yeah.
that movie. They used to be more kind of scraggly and stuff, but now
Mhm.
they're
Oh,
for that.
I
So
didn't know.
that,
He did a lot of work for
he did
that
a
one.
lot of work for that role. That's crazy.
Mhm.
But anyway,
So,
so go ahead.
so you start coming to the club. Your second visit, you pretty much went. Well, let's back up to the first time. You said you went home and were thinking or talking about what had happened. Does that mean something happened?
Oh no, nothing
nothing
bad.
It was
Nothing
all a
bad.
good experience.
Well, no, I mean something good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely good thing.
Well, okay. So,
A little bit,
well, okay. So I mean, once again, we go big or go home,
Little
right?
ham.
So we ended up in the group room.
We did the first night. It was
Yeah.
crazy. But,
So it was we had a heck of an experience. But earlier on, we were still figuring out what this meant
for us and
for our relationship, how it added to or changed things,
and
and
if we wanted boundaries of any kind, or
and what those boundaries were.
how far we were willing to go, you
Yeah.
know. And
So-
I think those experiences definitely formed that.
So that's usually why after each experience we would take some time off.
Right. To
But-
process and
Obviously, we were back within a week.
Yeah.
So
we were good.
yeah, we didn't need as much time to process
After that.
our experiences as we thought we did.
Yeah.
Especially when one couple comes along and literally just crooked their finger
Yeah,
and
they're like,
we were there in a heartbeat.
and we're like, okay.
So yeah, it was interesting.
It was definitely good.
Yeah,
good
first experience in the club was a great one.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Maybe come a little earlier.
Yeah, maybe come a little earlier.
Yeah. Insisted on body shop first.
Yeah, instead of DJs, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely much closer. That's for sure.
So now that you guys have had your conversations after certain events and so forth, do you guys consider yourselves either the type of couple that has rules or the type of couple that has guidelines in the lifestyle?
Yeah, guidelines for sure.
Yeah, we read up on, because we did a lot of reading early on.
Especially him, yeah.
Yeah, we did
A lot of research.
the ethical slut.
Mhm.
The,
Yes,
That was very, very
it was
helpful.
good.
Which book?
The ethical slut.
Ethical stuff.
Oh yeah.
And-
I've actually not read that book.
It's
It's
really
good.
good.
They have a YouTube series
They
too.
do. which
Yeah.
I used.
That's what we did first, actually. We did the
Yeah.
YouTube series.
Watched
That's what we
some of
did first
And
together.
then I read some a little bit, and then
The Jealousy Jealousy Workbook.
Yes.
The Sex at Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one about the statistics?
That was Sex at Dawn, wasn't it?
No.
Which one?
It was a really good book that was based on a statistical study of 4,000 people and their
Their
sexual
different
desires.
sexual
Yeah.
desires. I thought that was Sex at Dawn.
No, Sex at Dawn is the history one, like evolution.
That was really good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that book.
Still, I have to read the rest of it. We read some, but
I think it's in the bathroom.
yeah, I gotta read it.
Some in the
I think I
bathroom.
know what book you're talking about, Ranjan.
Yeah,
I just can't think of the title, but it's like
you like?
billions.
Oh, yeah, something like that. Show me what.
Tell
you
me,
like.
tell me what you like.
Yeah, something like that.
Tell me what you like.
Yeah,
I think
something
so.
like that. But it basically.
You know what? I
was
think
like,
let me.
Here, he'll go go. But yeah, it was basically about
Bye, Ranjan.
Bye.
different people's fantasies and experiences, because it's interesting to read about just what type of people try these things out, and even just like between women and men, their fantasies and just their inhibitions and stuff like that. It's really interesting to read about.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. What's it called?
It's Tell Me What You Want.
Tell me what
Yeah.
you want. That's it.
Ah,
That's really good. I need to read
Yeah.
the rest of that too.
there you go.
Okay.
So it was really cool.
All research.
One of the things that a lot of people that want to explore things, I think, feel is that they're alone because you can't really talk to anyone about
Right.
this stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like only people at the club, which is awesome.
Yeah, but
But
even
outside
even
people-
before they get to that step of
Yeah.
going to the club, I think
Mhm.
people,
You can't really
a lot of
discuss
people
it.
have these desires and they never tell
Other
anyone, not even their partner. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's one reason a lot of
Mhm.
relationships have issues
Mhm.
because they're not open enough.
and they're not
at least.
expressing that.
Yeah,
you know.
being able to expressing. So anyhow, so we did that reading early on, and to answer your question, we decided we would have guidelines,
Mhm.
not rules, not
Not
hard
rules,
set,
yeah.
boundaries,
Yeah,
like things that we weren't comfortable with, things
Mhm.
we are, which are slightly different from
Yeah.
rules, like you can't do this, you can't do that.
We're basically like, I'm not comfortable with that, or I'm
Yeah.
not ready for that, those
Yeah.
kind of things.
But pretty much everything we do in the lifestyle is a shared experience
Yeah.
with us, so it's
That's the most important thing.
yeah, because it's the most
Communication.
important relationship in our lives, of
Yeah.
course, are the with the people we
Each
are with.
other.
Yeah.
Well, you're also both giving what are physically it's very intimate. I mean, it's a very it's you were talking earlier about being raised traditionally or how a traditional relationship looks, and we're we're taught that you save yourself for the person that you love, and that's who you engage with or whatever. So when you sort of engage freely this way, it's important that you share it together because you're giving both of those things of to other people. Do you when you guys were embarking on this, did you find that one or the other, and I don't mean to throw anyone under the bus if this is the case, but was one or the other a little more hesitant?
Yes.
Yes.
I suspect I know who it is, but
And the ironic thing was that the earliest fantasies that we talked about involved sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why most of our earliest experiences involved, like for instance, our first hotel experience involved taking on another single male, for instance.
Right.
It was a little while before she was comfortable, until she felt the foundations of a relationship were strong enough.
Mhm.
And actually, the Jealousy
Okay.
Workbook was really good.
Yeah,
about
that was really nice because it just helped me kind of see. It's the beginning of it kind of talks about even your past relationships and if they've been healthy or if you've been around healthy relationships, what you consider healthy, I guess, and how you want your relationships to be in the future.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It was-
Even
it
if
was
you're
really
not
called
jealous,
again?
the Jealousy Workbook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never heard of that one either. I'm gonna write that down.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
I get
helpful.
so jealous.
He's like,
So it's not even that, like, it's not like the green-eyed monster that we traditionally think of. Even it's that, and this ties into what you're talking about earlier with the way we're brought up thinking about relationships. You feel a sense of ownership over the person you're in a relationship with,
and you think
Yeah.
that's normal, and you
And-
shouldn't look beyond that.
and people are territorial.
Mhm.
And
And
not in the kink sense either, not like in a BDSM sense. Like that's my property, literally.
yeah, because like, for instance, like for a person to share their significant other, that would be seen socially among, I guess I don't want to say vanilla people, but like vanilla people that they're a weak person for them. Yeah.
Right.
Or traditional. There we
Yeah,
go. Traditional.
Mhm.
That they're, for instance, a weak person, and they do it out of that weakness, as opposed to once you embrace the concept of alternative relationships and openness, you don't let the other person do what they want to do. You want them to do what makes them happiest, right? As opposed to me giving her permission to play around. That's not the way it works in a healthy relationship. You don't get to own another person, dictate what they do. But traditional relationships, that's kind of how they work. And
you're like, you can go ahead and do this. Like, that's not how that goes.
And I think that's why, exactly. And I think that's why they internalize a lot of their feelings overall in traditional relationships, and it becomes toxic to them. And that's why
you resent people if you're not able to do what you want to do, and somebody is almost like holding you back. That'll happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't get to experience what you know.
And we have the opportunity to experience what we want, and continue living our lives, which is great. I agree with that idea. A library room would be great.
Yes.
Right?
We'll have a reading room.
Yeah.
We can have those little curbside library.
Little bookshelves and then
Those little libraries have in front of people's houses.
like the mailbox thing.
The community one. The community.
We'll bring back the classroom. We'll do it in that.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Get some sexy books in there.
Although I'll have to put a chain on them or something, or I'll have to check them out.
Get a little library card in there. That's all you need.
Well, you can use our membership.
Funds,
Oh, there you
that
go.
Could be a good kinky
People will hold the books out longer than they need to, just so they get
fined.
So they get punished. Yeah.
Be like, oops, the librarian. That's what I come into a school party.
Yeah, you're a librarian for the last schoolgirl.
Awesome, yeah.
For the reverse schoolgirl night. I was actually literally just telling that story at a friend's birthday party.
I had my hair up in a bun and glasses
and I was a schoolgirl.
Shirt, and then he was
That's right, you were the schoolgirl.
Yeah.
It's so fun. But,
it's really, really awesome to hear you guys speak about your relationship that way. We've talked to I'll just say hundreds of couples. It's probably more than that, but just and at various levels, and sometimes you get a little deeper. But you guys you're so articulate about your relationship, and clearly you've been working on it actively. That you guys can just riff so quickly about how important those things are, the communication and the things that you've talked about. That's just that I'm really enamored with that.
It's hard work. It's been a journey for sure, but it's made us stronger. Way stronger. You'd never think that, about the lifestyle. I never would have imagined,
Yeah.
I absolutely feel that way. And Marilu will tell you, when her and I first started seeing each other, that was so important, to both of us.
Yeah, because communication really is everything, and a lot of people, they look at coming to the club, or they're like, oh well, let's check out this new place. We've heard we have an interest, but they really don't do the research beforehand. Not so much about what the club is about and what happens here, but the research for them as a couple, and being able to communicate, because you might walk in and see something that might interest one partner but not the other, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's where sometimes you'll get that little touch of jealousy, well, what do you mean you're interested in that? You never told me. Well, that's
right. You don't talk about it before.
Or
even after, it could be after too. But as you talk about it in general.
So once again, the most this is an old joke, but there's a 4-letter word that means intercourse, and it's talk, right? That people don't talk about
They
things.
don't.
Like, sometimes you'll have a feeling flare up randomly. It could be in the middle of a party, it could be while you're at dinner, it could be while you're in the shower, who knows. But if you don't talk about it, you're never going to come to terms with what that means for you and your relationship.
If you push it down, it's just going to come back. You can only push it so far, and it's going to come up at some point. So
some people have a lot of fear talking about their own sexuality, period. Was that ever a case for you guys?
I was pretty private at first, like just growing up, kind of religious, and not really thinking sex was accepted or something I should talk about, or even being bi. I never came to terms with that basically until we started with the lifestyle. I started to want to have those experiences. I never embraced it, I guess.
Well, even as far as her desires, but even
with us,
even between just the two of us, when our communication was poor, our intimacy was poor. Our when we were being intimate with each other, we weren't really fulfilling each other's needs either, because we weren't communicating what our desires were.
We weren't talking about it,
So being able to talk about it was a very big stepping stone, both for us interpersonally as well as getting into things.
It's been awesome. We talk about everything now, probably too much.
Probably too much.
It's important to note, though, that this isn't. Well, first of all, talking is a fix for many relationships, but just embarking in the lifestyle in general is never a fix.
No, it's not, and it's not for everybody either.
It's not.
No, definitely not.
It's a good foundation and be comfortable.
Definitely not for me.
It's not going to fix something that's broken,
No, and I've seen people try that.
Oh yeah, we've seen that too. Like
we've seen some people fizzle out pretty quickly because they're working out issues in the wrong way.
And if they're not talking or even fighting at the club or different things like that, just kind of not communicating healthily.
Luckily, it's not too much of an issue because the like a flash in a pan, like those kind of take care of themselves generally.
It's nothing,
It definitely seems that way.
Overall, while the lifestyle isn't for everybody, I do recommend people at least not necessarily look into it, but at least do some of the basic readings on the way relationships work. At least a different view than the traditional, because I think a lot of people could benefit from it.
A lot of people could, but
not necessarily hopping right into things. So to speak,
taking it slow and stuff.
But I
even
think,
just thinking about it or talking about it, if you're thinking about fantasies or whatever, But
well, because
that's not for everybody. But
once again, like one of the most important steps in most of the how-to guides, so to speak, like the ethical stuff like that, are learning to communicate and building trust, and those are the cornerstones of any relationship.
Exactly.
So whether or not you get into the lifestyle or not, you could always benefit from communicating better. Right?
Everybody can, even friends.
Even if it ends up destroying the relationship, if communication destroyed the relationship, it wasn't meant to be. It was just going to be worse.
And at least you tried.
That's an interesting point. I think it's funny because I've talked to people privately that that have called about the club or inquiring about the lifestyle, and so that's an interesting point that you made. And it seems like some people are just afraid to have those conversations because they're afraid of losing the relationship. And I feel that's the very same way. If having a frank discussion about your sexuality is going to be the end of your relationship, probably not the best relationship to be in to begin with.
That's it.
And it's probably one of those things that probably should be taken care of before or sooner rather than later too. And the longer it goes, the worse it is. And I think that's just in a lot of people's nature to put off something that they think is going to hurt. Just like
I do it all the time. We all. I mean, I think we all do that to some degree. You sort of try to avoid pain or issues or whatever, and
or something that could come up even, if you're like scared of losing someone or keeping someone or
I mean,
any of
it can
that.
be something as simple as pulling a splinter out.
Oh,
Something. Sometimes you just don't want to deal with it right now.
Sometimes you want to avoid that.
Sometimes,
avoid that pain for as
yeah,
long as you
and
can.
I get that too. But overall, it's usually better just to take care of it now.
Just rip that Band-Aid
Yeah.
off.
Well, we did a class. It was called Fantasy Fishbowl 101.
Oh yeah.
Basically, what we did is we invited a few couples to come in, and we gave everyone index cards and different colored pens and whatever. And it was like everyone go to a different corner and write your fantasy, something that you haven't been able to tell your partner, or you're curious about what your partner would think, but you just don't want that judgment. So everyone threw their questions in, did their conversations, and then we would pull one out at a time. He was changing his camera. And then we had a moderator, and that person would pull out a card and say what it was, and it was anonymous. Only the person that wrote it knew what it was. But then they asked everyone in the room to, vote on whether, the item at question was appropriate or not, or how do you view it? Would you be okay if your partner said those things to you? And it kind of gave everyone an out so that when they went home, they could actually discuss it and say, hey, what'd you think about when the question was about anal sex or whatever it was? And I think it was a great way to get people to talk a little more. And then it was really interesting, even so after the fact, like a week or two after, getting emails from a couple of people being like, when are you going to do that again? Because we want to go the next step. We want to go to the next course, which is actually having the opportunity to say that to your partner with that moderator, and them asking you, each questions like, how do you feel about that, and so forth. It was really cool.
You feel comfortable talking about it after, discussing it with others and stuff. That makes sense. That's interesting. I like that idea.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was interesting, even just being in the room. Everyone has a certain perception of other people in the room, based on looks or gender or whatever. Everyone does it. But it was interesting to see some of the people's responses, the ones that you would like, oh yeah, they would not be up for that. Totally not for that. And then all of a sudden you would see the light bulb click, like, oh yeah, I'm okay with that. I would be into that. And you're like, oh dude, the guy with the Stetson and the cowboy, really? Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like there needs to be like a show of hands.
I know, right?
It was an interesting experience for sure.
Yeah.
So
that definitely sounds fun.
It was a great way to communicate, and show people how they can communicate. And there's no fear, you can't have any fear in that.
Yeah. And then you can discuss with other people too. If like you're not with your significant other or something too. That's what I actually liked about the ladies talk thing that you did. That was awesome, because they were talking about things with these friends that you're with all the time and you're in the club with, that there's things that we haven't really talked about, like certain like toys or experiences, or how our relationships were before the club, and just it was nice. I like that a lot. I came home and talked to them, but
I think everyone does afterwards. And I think the spouses too are kind of like, or the partners are like, so what'd you guys do? What'd you talk about?
Yeah, they're like, what you guys do? Where were you? What's going on? Interested to hear.
I mean,
you're like,
so do you guys have a bucket list?
I came home and I was like, hey, guess what?
She wanted to tell me all about it.
Yeah.
I was fine napping.
Yeah, he was like,
I love my naps.
He was out. I was like,
So you guys might not know this, but I'm essentially narcoleptic.
Yeah, he is a big sleeper.
I just,
especially if he has carbs.
Yeah, or I catch a ray of sunlight.
Yeah, he's like
warmth just puts me right to sleep.
he goes right to sleep. He's
Unless
like,
it is hot. Unless
it's hot, he can't stand the heat.
which is weird.
Yeah.
A little bit of warmth puts me to
A
sleep.
little bit of warmth.
Actually, I used to date this girl that found this secret out about me before I knew it.
Yeah.
And we would be going for a ride, and I noticed I was taking a lot of naps whenever I was in the car with her. And one day she came clean. She told me every time I pissed her off, she would just reach over and put my seat warmer on.
And then he passed.
I would pass right out.
I was like,
just
nice.
like that.
I was like, why did you come in earlier?
Oh
my
my
God.
God. That is great.
But you know what? That's usually me in the car. He drives, and a couple minutes into it, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
sleeping.
She's like, wow, how did we get here so fast? You've been sleeping for 2 hours.
Sleeping. I'm like, you guys stay awake with me. He's like, 5 minutes in. Good night.
Yeah, I'm a
Who
terrible
normally
co-pilot.
drives?
What's that?
Who normally drives?
It depends. Like
It's half and half. I'd
half
say.
and half of that, yeah. Just
Okay.
depending.
She likes to
I
drive.
don't mind to drive. Yeah.
I don't like letting her drive.
Yeah. He
But-
doesn't
Are you
like
more
driving.
traditional in that sense, or is it because she drives
No.
poorly?
No. No. It's just okay. So I have an electric car,
Yeah.
and
Oh my
she hasn't had as much wheel time behind it
Yeah,
as I
that's
have.
True, that's true.
So in order to drive it, like the car favors economical driving,
Yeah.
right? So like you don't press the brake pedal, you let off the accelerator, for
Mhm.
instance.
Because it
right?
has, what's that called? Like,
Regenerative braking.
regenerative braking, so it'll
So-
kind of brake, you know.
So well, it doesn't brake for you.
Kinda.
Anyhow, so every time like she touches my brakes, I like cringe a little
He's
bit
like, stop.
because
Wait, are you
when
trying to
Sarah
make
was-
the brake pads last longer? Is that what it is?
okay, well.
No,
There's a story here. So there's the car. It's a little BMW i3. It comes with an
Right.
app, and the app rates you.
On your driving style.
Yes. So every time she touches the brakes, I feel my rating drop.
It's
And
like,
I'm just like, oh.
because it like counts how efficient and economical you are when you're driving. So if you're saving gas or if you're using a lot, you know, if you're going too fast or right?
Yeah.
And
Hold on.
he's
let
like,
me-
no.
oh,
I'm
you're
gonna
looking
pull
up
it
your rating?
Wait, so
Yeah.
it seems like Ranjan's afraid of being judged by his car.
Yeah,
I am.
he is. And by the way, there's like other people on there.
See, I've been driving it recently, and look at that. I've got a 5-star rating.
5-star rating.
Ooh.
But when she drives it, it drops to like 2.
That's
Ew.
oh my
Probably.
God. So
Oh.
especially on long trips,
Wait,
we usually
don't
do
you-
half and half.
Don't you have
Especially
different
if he's,
keys, like one for each driver, and then it'll just rate her
No,
instead?
I don't think it does. Just the one, right?
Yeah, no.
It's different.
So the car came with 2 keys originally. But I bought it used, so
Yeah.
Oh.
I only got 1 key. So if I lose it, I'm
He's
screwed.
screwed. That's
Well,
Well,
why-
if you get that second key, you could probably program it to her, and then when she drives, it won't affect your rating.
That would be
Yeah,
ideal.
you can
That would be
deprogram
ideal.
it.
That would be
And then
ideal.
you can compete for the ratings there. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, yes.
I mean, I'll always win.
Ah.
I have the wheel time. It's not your fault. I have more experience driving the car, so I mean, maybe you'll catch up one day. The other thing is, I could drive long periods of time
That's true.
unfazed.
Yeah.
Once I
He
make
doesn't
it,
really get tired. Like,
yeah, once I pass the 1 hour mark, I can drive for like
Mhm.
10.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I'll get tired after like 4 or 6 hours or something.
Yeah.
4 hours usually is about. But I've like the longest I've driven by myself is like 6. So after that, I'm just like, oh, I can't take it. Or no,
I've driven.
8. Wasn't it
Where?
back from Tennessee? Right?
Oh yeah, you did that.
I did that.
We
It
moved
was
a friend from
hard.
Tennessee,
It
and
was
she drove
hard.
back by herself.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
terrible. Oh my goodness. But anyway.
I forgot about that.
But-
But normally, I'm also a very strange driver. I drive in silence, which
yeah, it's
makes
really
me
weird.
lots of enemies.
It's
Yeah,
really weird. Like I
People-
don't get it. Yeah,
people think
he's
I'm
like-
crazy.
he's like-
Exactly.
No, I
People
do
think I'm
too.
crazy. It's I find my moment of zen, and I don't want to say I zone out because I'm still driving, but like I just kind of
I do the same
meditate,
thing.
and like that's why I can drive like hours on end after that first.
I can't like listen to my thoughts all that time. I'm like, I need something in there. Like
That's how I order my thoughts.
I know.
think.
Do you do podcasts or audiobooks or anything that while you drive?
Usually I
Silence.
do, but he just does
Nothing.
silence.
I can do podcasts. I can do music, but not much. But I'll do like podcasts or books or whatever while I'm driving.
I'm driving by myself. I'm constantly singing. Like
I've
a lot of
done
times I have that.
books. If I put music in, like I'll usually turn it down until
you won't have it too loud.
until it basically becomes background
Yeah,
background
fall
noise.
asleep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So do you guys find well, two questions. It's kind of a two-part question. Do you have a bucket list?
Ooh.
And if you do, have you completed it?
We used to have a bigger bucket list. I have one thing that I haven't done yet.
Oh yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that?
Scotty.
I didn't have sex with myself. No.
You don't have to.
Anyway,
I have a fireman.
we don't have like a
fetish.
formal list written down
We
anywhere.
don't have a huge list.
Although I can tell you one thing that's definitely on it: that phone booth in your parking
We
lot.
want to use a phone booth.
We are going to plant a flag in that
Yeah,
thing.
we're gonna do it.
But not when it's
Should I just move
like
it closer to the patio?
Yeah.
No, well, no. Our plan is it's going to be so.
As long as it's not spidery, you know.
Well, I'll spray it out.
Yeah, we gotta spray it out.
But either way, the plan is we plan on claiming it at some point, even if it's still out there in the parking lot. But sneaking away one day, and maybe.
We do want to do that.
I mean, these are the two complete wrong people to tell.
Yeah, right.
But now you
We're
know.
putting the outdoor camera just on the
Yeah, I'll be repositioning that camera.
Yeah, if you see it on fire first, because I'm probably burning the spiders out of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's filled with spiders.
Yeah, it's probably got some spiders.
Yeah, it's
At
probably
least on the
huge
outside,
ones.
you know.
Well,
Huge ones.
last year it had a hornet's nest in it, so.
Ooh, that's not good.
I can deal with hornets. She can deal with
I
hornets.
don't like it.
Hornets.
You can do-
Well,
Spiders are easier than hornets though. We're kind of so.
Well, he's gonna wear a scuba suit. He won't get stung if he wears a scuba suit.
You just gotta wear a scuba suit and like a mask.
Yeah.
You know.
there you go.
There we go.
Well, we'll
And
make
I'm
sure to have it fogged out, and cleaned up for you guys.
But yeah, we've checked a lot of things off of our list, just with different experiences at the club and different experiences we've had on our own and stuff. But even some that we didn't know we had before we got.
Like, oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun, you know. But
Because it happened, or you just heard about somebody else talking about it or doing it?
I don't know, because we saw it happening and we joined in.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of
most of the time it's that.
Most of the time it's that.
That
We're
looks like a lot of fun.
that looks
Let's try it.
interesting.
Let's try
How
that.
long does that
Yeah.
discussion take place? Like how much time expires? Like from the time you see it to the time you're in it? Is there?
Well, it's usually a
Sometimes-
quick glance shared between us, like,
Sometimes
yeah.
minutes, sometimes, you know.
It's usually seconds. Like, like usually it's like,
We're
should
like,
we?
we're like, should we? Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And then of course we ask the people involved
Right,
if it's
right.
okay.
If we're okay to join in, or if they're good on their own,
Yeah.
But
So it's more of like a head nod and a wink. Like,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
We're like,
kinda.
yeah, maybe.
Marilu, how's that go? How do you point with your lips?
Just be like, oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'd be like, yeah.
He always teases me because he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just a thing that, like, if you notice, a lot of Puerto Ricans do. It's like, it's okay, where's this at? There,
Point with your lips.
Yeah,
That's a good thing, though.
over there. It's just
That's
like,
interesting.
and I never realized they do it as much as I do. And then every time I do it, he's like, your lips.
You're like, oh.
I'm like, oh,
Her mom
okay,
doesn't
yeah.
too, though.
Oh, you're like this and that and this,
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You're like, that. Here we go.
It's like I just point.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
No. Be like,
No.
stop.
Do you get more yeses when you guys have conversations? Are there more yeses or nos?
There's mostly yeses.
Yeah, I
there
think
used to be more no's.
I don't think not really.
A little more maybes at least.
It was I was like,
We're like, oh.
and be like, you sure? Like, okay.
We'll be like, all right, let's try it. Yeah.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of no's.
Not
Only
a lot of
because
no's, yeah.
once again, like we made it a point to kind of try things out and evaluate after,
Yeah.
right?
Good
So we're just like, okay, we'll try this out, and if we don't like it, we'll talk about it, have an honest conversation with it, and
And
either
not
pursue
do
it or not pursue it ever
or-
again.
Yeah, exactly.
Or come back around.
Yeah, or come back.
I guess. Never say never, right?
Never say
Like,
never.
never say
So
never.
by trying it out, does that mean a specific I don't know, sex act, or is it more like, you're talking about specific people, like, this couple or that person, or
Mostly it's either an act or an experience.
Yeah, it
right?
could be like, say, for instance, a certain number of
Right.
people and a certain
Or a certain situation
Certain
that was
situation, yeah.
interesting, something we were thinking about. Mostly people, we're kind of up for anything.
Yeah. We tend to be adventurous.
Yeah.
With err on the side of
Yeah.
something different.
As long as we don't get a bad feeling from someone and we're comfortable,
Yeah.
Right.
and we know they're not bad people
Yeah.
in general, then,
Well, that's one of the advantages of going to a lifestyle club, because you can be a little more cavalier with certain aspects. When it comes to meeting people,
right.
you're meeting them on neutral territory,
Yeah.
neutral ground.
Mhm.
You don't worry about people showing up at your house randomly or
Right.
something like that.
And you don't have to be friends with them forever if you're not really into them. After
Yeah.
you think about it afterwards and you don't really want to talk to them,
Yeah.
you know.
So there's a lot of advantages there and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's good.
It is a nice neutral ground.
But for the most part, it's mostly yeses.
Yeah,
and
it's mostly yeses.
a couple maybes in the beginning, but
Yeah.
it's mostly yeses now.
Yeah, it's mostly
Good.
What you said, you made a comment about numbers. Is there what is the max number at this point? I'm morbidly
Oh.
curious.
No. That's kind of a hard part.
You know what's funny is we watched a movie recently, which wasn't bad. It starred Anna Faris, I think. What's your number?
Yeah, what's your number? That
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah.
It was very interesting. They talk about the number of sexual partners an average female has over
Yeah.
her lifetime,
Real life, yeah.
and this character grew up in New York
Yeah.
and realized she was almost at that number.
Yeah, she was more than any of her friends and people that she talked to, but she didn't realize that was abnormal.
Yeah.
Either.
However, so that number for her was 20,
Yeah.
and I can tell you we beat that in one night.
Well, I guess that was the question. How many in one night?
Yeah.
Probably about that. Yeah.
I mean, so one night we conga lined
Was
30
that 30?
people from the
Yeah.
stripper pole back when it was near the car
Yeah,
to
when it
the
was in
group
car,
room.
all the way to the group room.
The
Couple
Canton
people
Club.
dropped off at
Yeah. The Canton Club, for instance, when we went there, not the time we ran into you, Marilu, and our
Oh,
friend.
okay.
The second time,
Yeah.
it was actually their schoolgirl night.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is we made it a point that we networked with a lot of people ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we made our intentions known. We were going to repeat the conga line thing.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
There. Our plan was we were gonna stage in the bar area,
Yeah.
collect and socialize with
Up our
all these
game.
people for the first 2 hours that were there from 10 to 12, and at midnight we were gonna go straight back.
Yeah.
And everyone was on board, and we did it.
We did.
And
We lost a lot when we got to the group room, but
that's a separate story, I guess.
different
But
story.
what's interesting is so that was in August, I think, last
I
year.
think so.
And then at the Secret Sensations Halloween party,
Mhm.
we went to that, and
Someone
people
recognized us.
recognized us from there. They're like,
They're
We
like,
saw
"We're
you
the
guys."
People at Canton.
Yeah.
We're
they're like, we have never seen something like that happen before.
Yeah, we're just like, wow. They know us?
it was kind of funny
Yeah, that's great.
because, it's kind of fun to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a flash mob, but
Yeah. Get a little bunch
a
of
flash mob.
mob. Yes, Marilu said a sex mob.
A sex
Yeah.
mob. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah, we really don't keep track of numbers per se, but
per se,
we've definitely included a lot of people in our
Right, yeah.
experiences, so to
That's
speak.
enough.
Yeah.
few
That's
people
awesome.
out
That's awesome.
there. But
Do you have a lot of dialogue beforehand with people? Like when you're when you're getting ready to hook up, is there a lot of dialogue, or do you? I mean, I'm asking on the heels of the conga line comment.
it depends. Like he does a lot of networking. We do a lot of networking ahead of time, just depending on the night. But we'll make sure.
Sometimes, sometimes we'll line up a date or two for an
But
evening.
sometimes we'll just go, and see who's there, see what's going on, and how we feel.
Well, okay, so once again it varies. Our situation is always very fluid. We've ended up like hooking up with people that we had met before.
Yeah, that we just met.
That we got their names afterwards, and that's always kind of entertaining when that happens. It's like, wow, we're reinforcing some sort of negative stereotype here. I'm not sure what.
Well, that's fine.
By the way, I'm Ranjan. Nice to meet you.
Or like,
nice to know you and meet you in that order, I guess. But
there's been other times when we've talked to people for a little while and then we, get with them. But just
there's some people we've talked to for a long time.
For a while, and then we didn't even think about it, and then but like we didn't really think of them as partners, and then
so it varies, so to speak. Yeah, it depends, I think, on people's comfort levels. Yeah. Like some people really want to build a rapport with another person or couple. Yeah. Some people don't need that necessarily. Some people are just using you to explore one of their fantasies, and you could pretty much just be a mannequin.
Yeah.
That
you're the accessory.
Yeah.
You're the Sibian attachment.
Yeah. Because some people want to go out for a drink. Some people just, will meet at the club, or we'll meet in person, or go out beforehand, or it depends.
And then, of course, like we've for the people that want to be friends with lifestylers outside of the club, we've actually collected a whole bunch of them.
We built kind of a little.
We meet up outside of the club during the week. We'll go to trivia, for instance, on Monday nights. Karaoke on Wednesday nights used to be a thing. So, midweek we would see each other outside of the club too.
Well, because we found like a lot of our lifestyle friends have become kind of our top friends because we can discuss everything with them. There's no secrets or hiding, and you can be open.
How wonderful is that?
Really nice. It's
Which
amazing.
Is really cool. Yeah, you can connect with people on an all new level when you're this
open.
Even
if you never hook up with them or anything, if you're friends with them and they're in the lifestyle, you're in the lifestyle, you can talk about anything and everything, and you're not getting judged, and
and they can be open with you and not feel judged too, which
and
is
ask
great.
Questions, karaoke.
So we're going to be reconfiguring the club. Actually, we started about a week or so ago, and it seems like we may have an area where we can do more of stuff like that, like games and karaoke and that. So, and I know we talked privately about talking to one of your guys that does the not Truth or Dare. What was it?
Trivia.
Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare sounds fun though too.
We can have Truth or Dare.
We can work on it.
Actually, I would be interested in participating in Truth or Dare.
Oh, we definitely include us with that
one. But yeah, so we're hoping in a few weeks here. We had some Marilu. What did you saw something today? Did you for Pennsylvania?
Oh, it's the outdoor seating is going to be open starting next week.
That's awesome. Okay.
For restaurants and bars. So their yellow phase is going to be now like Ohio's yellow phase.
Okay, that's good.
So
you guys will be able to do like an outdoor event, maybe.
Well, I think we're going to move relatively quick into. I think Allegheny County is probably going to get into green phase in the next week or two. Well, actually, probably 2 weeks. And then we'll probably follow up with opening in the week after. So my guess is probably the third week of June is when we might be.
We were thinking like mid-June, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, don't want to put you on the spot or anything. Yeah.
No, I mean, unfortunately, it's out of my control. But we're taking advantage of the downtime to do some changes that we've wanted to do at the club for a long time. So actually, literally all three clubs are going through transformations right now.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, it's good because we can do it with the downtime. It's bad because we're doing it when we have no income.
That's the disadvantage.
So savings is going.
So we right in the beginning, you guys did social distancing drinks in the parking lot.
Oh
yeah.
Tailgating.
That could be it.
If you can find a way to get that, because cocktails to go are a thing now.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. You know, they're allowed to do it.
Do something in the back parking lot.
Something
like that.
And the back, like the smoking area.
And apparently they're talking about drive-ins. If maybe we could project a movie.
Awesome.
I mean, you guys have space there. You could possibly do something if whatever you guys are comfortable with. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, we're trying right now. I'm trying to figure out how to do blowjobs to go. So.
Oh, there you go.
Blowjobs to go.
No, you have the strip club that does the drive-through stripping.
Yeah.
So somehow drive-through car wash / blowjob.
We'll just set up the glory hole outside.
Just put the glory hole outside. That could be good.
Okay, because I was thinking they'd be in the car still. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
You're thinking, how do I drive sticking my body out the window?
I was like, well, they'd have to lean into the car and they get washed.
Yeah.
But,
they get washed. That's not a good idea.
That's very true.
I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around it, but I'm sure.
Because us, we'll hang out at the parking lot like however long after.
It sounds like you have a volunteer for the car wash already.
Actually, that was something we talked about doing. I think was it last year, Marilu? We talked about the car wash. Like we were gonna do like a Saturday afternoon like car wash, like a
car wash.
Yeah, like a naked or topless. I think as long as we're on private property, we could probably. I don't know. Marilu, I'll have Marilu research that. Topless.
Yeah, we could do tents outside in the backyard, in the back parking lot.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of space back there. You know? Have people park out front or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have like the covers on the chain link out there anyway, so for the most part, it's covered from street level at least. The people that's house up above might get a view.
Yeah, a little bit of a view.
Well, it looks like we have another volunteer for the car wash.
Oh, well, there we go. Oh, nice, Brooke. Oh yeah.
So what else don't we know about you two?
Ooh, that's a good question. What's some fun factoids or something?
I don't know.
What do you want to know?
Marilu?
Huh?
Got some questions?
Wait, hold on. Fun facts. Okay, something.
Not a lot of people know.
I'm colorblind.
Yeah,
how old are you two?
Oh.
We are
30. So I have a hard time figuring out how old I am. There's a story.
So I'm 36.
38. Okay, 38. Yeah. I have a hard time figuring out how old I am. Wait, no, 83. That doesn't make sense.
Wait, I'm 35 and 37. Sorry.
Yeah, see, there we go. See, we didn't know how old we were just now.
Wow. Once you get to be our age, it's even worse. Like, how old am I going to be this year?
Yeah. So, 1 year, I went to India and flew back on my birthday, and
it takes like.
And it's like a 14-hour flight.
Oh yeah.
And you're moving across the time zones too. And on top of that, I had my wisdom teeth taken out. So for a variety of reasons, I didn't count that day as having occurred.
It doesn't count as a birthday.
So so that was my birthday, and when people asked me how old I was, I just subtracted a year. I was like, because I don't count that birthday, because birthdays are like go. If you pass it, you collect $200. Otherwise, you don't. You know,
so you're like, I went forward and I went back. So you deducted a year rather than adding a year.
Well, because so when you fly across the time zones, your day shortens, right?
Yeah.
And you
Right.
spend most of the time on a
On
plane
a plane or sleeping.
and sedation, right? So it didn't happen.
So then,
And so people were like, "How old are you?" And I'd say, I think I was like 25 at the time. I'd be like, "I'm 24," and she would correct me immediately, be like, "You're 25." And like,
over the years, he's been like, "How old am I again?"
over the years, it's gotten worse because as we corrected each other and thought about it, and then my age actually still kept changing, it became harder for me to keep track of. So now, until she said I was 38, and I realized I was an even number, and I was born in '83,
that's what I was
I realized it didn't make sense. And that's how I have to figure out each time. I have to literally do the math in my head.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, now I'm like, how old am I now?
First, she used to correct me, and now that I'm all screwed up, she's inheriting my screwed upness.
My memory's gone. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god. What else? Oh, do you want to tell where we went? That's kind of funny.
Where?
I'm
Huh?
tired.
No. Here's I'm a night owl. So once again, I don't sleep a lot.
Yeah. At
night. I can't sleep at all at night. So I sleep so the vampire thing. I could totally be a vampire.
Because he sleeps in the day just randomly. Like,
Do you work at night then?
it does kind of make you. I'm figuring out when there is.
Oh yeah, but this one actually. So with this whole disaster, Chels got furloughed.
I've been hearing on his schedule.
And she ended up on my sleep schedule.
It's not good.
It took maybe 2 days, and then she was staying up till 5 in the morning.
Bad because I just went back to work. Well, and working from home. A week ago? It's been rough. It's been rough because I'm going to bed at 2, wake up at 8, do my meeting, go back.
Yeah, she definitely she wakes up for her morning meeting and definitely goes right back to sleep.
Oh my god.
It's been bad. It's bad. So
Ranjan, do you work at night then?
No, she works during the day. Me?
No, what about you?
He has more of a flexible schedule.
Yeah.
He worked from home beforehand, so.
Yeah. So I manage rentals, so for me, I kind of
get
scheduled most things I have to do. Yeah.
A lot of times he does have to do in the day, but he can kind of work around, traffic and his own schedule, so that's nice. Lucky.
Yeah.
It explains why you're taking having narcoleptic naps then throughout the day.
I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't sleep at night. He's like.
I had a friend in college that scheduled his classes around Wheel of Fortune.
Wow.
No, Price is Right.
Price is Right. Wow.
My goal is to get on that level.
Yeah, get on that level. Just be like, I need to watch every day.
No, I need to be like, okay, so I am gonna schedule my work so that I get a nap at 1:30.
Well, he would schedule around rush hour. That's.
I do. I refuse to travel during rush hour.
And he's like after before
I actually
9.
do the same thing.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, around here is terrible.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Especially if you're driving a Silverado. I drive a truck sometimes, and so when you're driving a big truck,
it's so hard to do on the
those
traffic.
aggressive drivers, and I say that I'm an aggressive driver.
Yeah, he gets to be a little aggressive.
Wait, are you the guy that doesn't let anybody over?
No, I let people over all the time.
Okay.
Go in the exit lane for a while, scoot over at the very.
I do bob and weave in traffic a lot, but I do let people in all the time too. I'm a big proponent of zipper merging.
Yeah.
I believe in zipper merging. If everyone let one person in,
then you're good.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you said that because I didn't up until probably 10 years now that I would get so pissed at people that would when the lanes are going to merge, and they have a sign up a half a mile before. Here's me thinking I'm being courteous. Well, I'll move over now. Well, reality is you're supposed to wait until the last minute and just let the person in, and it flows more smoothly, but it never happens that way.
But of course, you would think that getting over, ever since you have to get over, it's better to get over early.
Yeah.
But
when you're in traffic, sometimes you don't even want to make a signal because people won't let you in.
Oh, that's very true.
And I think the merge lanes anyway here in Pennsylvania are a heck of a lot shorter than they are in Ohio.
Oh my goodness,
it's crazy.
It's all of a sudden you're like,
You're like, well, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah, there's that one section you come into downtown. It seems like you have 500 feet to move over 4 lanes.
like on the 4-pit bridge, you're just like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You've got to move
Yeah.
all the
Yes.
way across.
If you come up 4-pit bridge and you're trying to hit 28 north,
Yeah.
you have to cross like 3 intersections of,
Yeah,
like, or three
that's
lanes. It's
Trying to get over, and people are like, no.
it's pretty
It's
insane.
messy. Oh my goodness.
So, all right. Well, listen, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Believe it or not, this goes so fast. It's been an hour and a half. You guys realize that? we
Well,
did,
thank you so much for having us on.
Awesome.
yeah, we did an interview with somebody. They hadn't done this before, and I said, trust me, it's going to go real fast. And it was with Lanaya,
Mhm.
and it was an hour and a half. And she's like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize it was an hour and a half." I'm like, "It goes real fast doing this."
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
really
fun.
was.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
talking.
awesome.
So,
Awesome.
but yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on here. I know you had some trepidation initially when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful to see you guys. You look great.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad we finally made it on.
Yeah, for sure. You are forever memorialized now on the internet.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, that's what you're worried about. It's
I'm like,
The
okay.
cool part is if you end up ever having kids or grandkids, they'll be able to go back and say, "That's grandma. I saw grandma."
Yeah.
online."
They were cool ones.
they're like, "Grandma?"
Yes.
They were cool people.
They used to be cool.
Yeah, they were party animals, and then they're like, no.
Yeah, I'm sure our grandchildren. Well, we'd probably spoil our grandchildren. if we-
Probably.
Yeah.
So.
But anyhow, well, thank you so much, guys, for
No,
having us
thank
on.
you. Thank you. It's great to see you.
You guys,
We can see you guys soon in person.
Yes.
See what
Very soon.
Yeah.
We'll let you know when we do the first parking lot party.
Yeah.
yeah,
that'd
and
be
Toledo
awesome.
and Camden, let us know about this.
Yeah,
Keep us in
Toledo,
the loop with
Kansas,
that.
too. Well, thank
I
you
will.
for
I will. Definitely. All right. See you guys soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.
being-